In the summer of 1944, Warsaw was not merely a city, it was a crucible of hope and despair, a battleground for the soul of a nation. The streets lay under the oppressive shadow of German occupation. The Wehrmacht had transformed the Polish capital into a fortress, its citizens living in a state of constant fear, their lives dictated by the whims of their occupiers. Yet, amid the rubble of shattered dreams and the echoes of gunfire, a flicker of resistance began to ignite. The Polish people, resilient and proud, were determined to reclaim their homeland. The Home Army, or Armia Krajowa, emerged as the largest underground resistance movement in occupied Europe, composed of men and women from all walks of life. They were factory workers, students, teachers, and veterans, united by a singular purpose: to liberate Poland from the clutches of tyranny. When the summer sun cast long shadows over the city, the members of the Home Army began to strategize a bold uprising, a coordinated effort to challenge the might of the German occupiers. However, the road to rebellion was fraught with uncertainty. Many civilians, weary from years of oppression and the relentless threat of violence, were skeptical of the feasibility of such an audacious endeavor. The German forces, well equipped and deeply entrenched, seemed an insurmountable foe. Yet, the resistance fighters understood that the key to their success lay not only in military might but also in the power of communication. They knew that to inspire their fellow citizens, they needed a voice, a means to disseminate information, rally support, and coordinate their efforts. Thus, the concept of a clandestine radio station was born. This station would serve as a beacon of hope, a voice of defiance that could penetrate the oppressive silence imposed by the occupiers. The task of bringing this vision to life fell to a group of dedicated individuals who operated in the shadows, gathering the necessary equipment and expertise to make the station a reality. They scoured the city for salvaged radio parts, often risking their lives to retrieve components from abandoned buildings and hidden caches. This effort culminated in the creation of Radio Błyskawica, or lightning radio, a name that symbolized the swift and powerful impact the station aimed to achieve. By the time the summer of 1944 progressed, the resistance fighters worked tirelessly to prepare for the impending uprising. The basement of a nondescript building in the heart of Warsaw was transformed into the makeshift studio for Radio Błyskawica. Here, amidst a hum of machinery and the quiet determination of its operators, the station began to take shape. The broadcasts were meticulously planned, with messages carefully coded to ensure they reached their intended recipients without falling into enemy hands. Updates from the BBC were incorporated into the transmissions, providing a crucial link to the outside world and bolstering the morale of the resistance fighters. The atmosphere in Warsaw was tense, with the city poised on the brink of rebellion. The resistance fighters, aware of the risks they faced, remained resolute in their mission. They understood that the success of the uprising hinged on their ability to communicate effectively, to inspire their fellow citizens to rise up and join Poland's fight for freedom. By the time the final preparations were made, the resistance fighters knew that the coming days would be critical. The seeds of resistance had been sown, and the time for action was at hand. The streets of Warsaw, formerly filled with the sounds of life, had echoed with the whispers of revolution. Each day brought new challenges, but also new opportunities for the resistance to grow. The citizens, though weary, began to feel a sense of hope as they listened to the broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica. The station's messages reminded them of their shared heritage, their common struggle, and their unwavering resolve to reclaim their city. When the sun set on the eve of the uprising, the resistance prepared for a confrontation that would test the limits of their courage and determination, a battle that would echo through history as a testament to the spirit of the Polish people. The context of the Warsaw Uprising cannot be understood without delving into the broader historical landscape of Poland during World War II. Following the invasion of Poland by Nazi Germany in September 1939, the country was plunged into a brutal occupation characterized by widespread violence, repression, and the systematic extermination of its Jewish population. The horrors of the Holocaust unfolded in Warsaw, where the Jewish ghetto became a site of unimaginable suffering. By 1944, the ghetto had been largely liquidated, and the remaining Jewish population faced annihilation. In the later years of the war, the Polish resistance grew increasingly organized. The Home Army, established in 1942, became the backbone of the resistance movement, drawing on the support of various factions, including the Polish Socialist Party and the National Armed Forces. The Home Army was not merely a military organization, it was a symbol of national pride and unity, embodying the Polish spirit of defiance against oppression. In the summer of 1944, the geopolitical landscape was shifting. The Soviet Red Army was advancing from the east, liberating territories previously held by the Nazis. The Polish resistance saw this as a crucial opportunity to rise against the German occupiers and assert their claim to a liberated Poland. The planned uprising was not only a military operation but also a political statement, aimed at establishing Polish sovereignty in the face of impending Soviet influence. Daily life in Warsaw during this tumultuous period was marked by hardship and deprivation. Food shortages were rampant, and the black market flourished as citizens sought to survive under the weight of occupation. The German authorities imposed strict regulations, curfews, and forced labor, further tightening their grip on the city. Despite these challenges, the spirit of resistance persisted. Underground schools, cultural events, and clandestine publications flourished, fostering a sense of community and resilience among the populace. The logistics of the uprising were complex and fraught with danger. The Home Army had to coordinate with various resistance groups, gather weapons, and secure safe houses for fighters and civilians alike. The establishment of Radio Błyskawica was a critical component of this strategy, providing a means of communication that transcended the limitations imposed by the occupiers. The station would serve as a lifeline, delivering news, instructions, and morale-boosting messages to those who needed it most. As the date for the uprising approached, the resistance fighters faced mounting pressure. The Germans were well aware of the potential for unrest and had increased their patrols and surveillance throughout the city. The resistance knew that any misstep could lead to catastrophic consequences, not only for the fighters but for the civilian population as well. The stakes were high, and the urgency of their mission weighed heavily on their shoulders. In the days leading up to the uprising, the atmosphere in Warsaw was electric with anticipation. The citizens, though fearful, began to feel a sense of unity and purpose as they listened to the broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica. The station's messages resonated deeply, reminding them of their shared history and the sacrifices made by those who had come before them. The resistance fighters understood that the success of the uprising depended not only on their military capabilities but also on their ability to inspire and mobilize the civilian population. As August 1, 1944, approached, the city held its breath. The culmination of years of suffering and resistance was about to unfold. The broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica would soon become a rallying cry, igniting the spirit of rebellion in the hearts of the Polish people. The resistance prepared for a confrontation that would test the limits of their courage and determination, a battle that would echo through history as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. August 1, 1944, dawned with an air of anticipation and tension in Warsaw. The city, long under the yoke of German occupation, was about to erupt in a fervor of resistance. As the clock struck 5 p.m., the signal for the uprising was given, and the streets of Warsaw came alive with the sounds of gunfire and the cries of freedom. The Warsaw uprising had begun. Amidst the chaos and determination of the resistance fighters, Radio Błyskawica sprang into action. The clandestine station, meticulously prepared in the preceding weeks, began its broadcasts, delivering the first of many messages that would rally the citizens of Warsaw and coordinate the efforts of the resistance. The airwaves crackled with urgency as the station's operators sent out their first transmission, a call for unity and defiance against the German occupiers. The broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica were a lifeline for the resistance fighters and the civilian population alike. As the battle for Warsaw raged on, The station provided critical updates on troop movements, strategic objectives, and morale-boosting messages from the resistance leadership. These transmissions were carefully coded to ensure that they reached their intended recipients without falling into enemy hands, a testament to the skill and dedication of the station's operators. The impact of Radio Błyskawica's broadcasts was immediate and profound. The messages of hope and defiance resonated with the citizens of Warsaw, inspiring many to join the fight and support the resistance in any way they could. The station's ability to disseminate information quickly and effectively demonstrated the power of communication in warfare, a vital tool in the struggle for liberation. As the days of the uprising progressed, the broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica became a symbol of the resilience and determination of the Polish people. Despite the constant threat of discovery by the German forces, the station continued to operate in secrecy, evading detection while sending out its vital messages. The operators worked tirelessly, aware that their efforts were crucial to the success of the uprising. The German occupiers, aware of the effect of the clandestine broadcasts, intensified their efforts to locate and dismantle Radio Błyskawica. Patrols scoured the city, searching for any signs of resistance activity, while intelligence operatives worked to intercept and decode the transmissions. The stakes were high, and the danger ever present, but the team at Radio Błyskawica remained undeterred. The broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica not only informed the resistance fighters but also rallied the civilian population, encouraging them to participate in the fight against their oppressors. The station's ability to unite the people of Warsaw in their struggle for freedom was a testament to the power of communication and the spirit of the Polish resistance. As the uprising continued, the situation in Warsaw became increasingly dire. The German military, determined to crush the rebellion, escalated their efforts, leading to brutal reprisals against suspected resistance sympathizers. Despite the risks, the broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica persisted, providing crucial updates that kept the spirit of resistance alive. The story of Radio Błyskawica during the Warsaw Uprising is one of courage, ingenuity, and resilience. The station's broadcasts played a pivotal role in the struggle for liberation, a testament to the power of hope and defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. As the battle for Warsaw raged on, the voice of Radio Błyskawica continued to echo through the city, a beacon of hope and a symbol of the quest for freedom. The initial days of the uprising saw a surge of enthusiasm among the populace. The streets of Warsaw, once silent under the weight of oppression, erupted with the sounds of gunfire and the rallying cries of the resistance. The Home Army fighters, emboldened by the broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica, took to the streets, engaging German forces in fierce combat. The spirit of defiance was palpable, as civilians joined the fight, armed with whatever they could find: rifles, pistols, and even makeshift weapons. Radio Błyskawica's broadcasts played a crucial role in coordinating these efforts. The station provided real-time updates on the progress of the uprising, informing fighters of key locations and enemy movements. The operators worked around the clock, ensuring that their messages reached every corner of the city. Each transmission was a lifeline, a reminder that Poland's fight for freedom was not in vain. As the days turned into weeks, the situation on the ground began to shift. The initial successes of the resistance were met with a brutal response from the German military. Reinforcements were sent to Warsaw, and the occupiers unleashed their full might against the uprising. The streets, once filled with hope, became battlegrounds, and the cost of resistance began to mount. Despite the escalating violence, Radio Błyskawica remained a steadfast presence. The operators, acutely aware of the dangers they faced, continued to broadcast, their voices unwavering in the face of adversity. Each message was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope could prevail. The broadcasts also served to document the unfolding events of the uprising. As the situation deteriorated, the operators of Radio Błyskawica began to report on the atrocities committed by the German forces. Civilians caught in the crossfire were not mere statistics, they were individuals with stories, families torn apart by the violence. The station's commitment to truth became a powerful weapon in its own right, shining a light on the horrors of war and galvanizing support for the resistance. As the weeks wore on, the toll of the uprising became increasingly evident. The German military, frustrated by their inability to quash the resistance quickly, resorted to brutal tactics. Executions of suspected partisans and reprisals against the civilian population became commonplace. The streets of Warsaw, once vibrant with life, were now filled with the echoes of gunfire and the cries of the wounded. Yet, amidst the chaos, the spirit of resistance endured. Radio Błyskawica's broadcasts continued to inspire acts of defiance. Civilians, motivated by the messages of hope and solidarity, engaged in acts of sabotage against German supply lines, disrupting the occupiers' operations. The station's ability to galvanize the population was a testament to the power of information and the resilience of the human spirit. As the uprising entered its final weeks, the operators of Radio Błyskawica faced mounting pressure. The German forces were closing in, and the risk of discovery grew with each passing day. The basement studio, once a sanctuary, felt increasingly like a trap. Yet, the operators remained committed to their mission, driven by a sense of duty and an unwavering belief in the power of their words. The final broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica took on a somber tone. The operators, aware that there was near, poured their hearts into each message, urging the people of Warsaw to hold fast, to resist until the very. The station's broadcasts became a chronicle of the resistance's struggle, a narrative of courage and sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds. As the uprising drew to a close, the impact of Radio Błyskawica's broadcasts would be felt long after the last transmission. The station had become a symbol of hope and defiance, a testament to the resilience of the Polish people in their fight for freedom. The legacy of Radio Błyskawica would endure, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the power of information could ignite the flames of resistance. The story of Radio Błyskawica during the Warsaw Uprising is a powerful narrative of courage, ingenuity, and resilience. The station's broadcasts played a pivotal role in the struggle for liberation, a testament to the power of hope and defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. As the battle for Warsaw raged on, the voice of Radio Błyskawica continued to echo through the city, a beacon of hope and a symbol of the quest for freedom. August 1944, Warsaw. The city, a tapestry of cobblestone streets and resilient souls, was engulfed in the flames of rebellion. As the Warsaw Uprising surged forward, Radio Błyskawica's clandestine broadcasts became the heartbeat of the resistance. Nestled in a dimly lit basement, the station's operators worked tirelessly, their voices a beacon of hope piercing through the oppressive silence imposed by the German occupation. The power of Radio Błyskawica lay not only in its ability to inform but also in its capacity to unite. Each broadcast was a carefully crafted message, weaving together news of the resistance's efforts, updates from the BBC, and coded instructions for fighters scattered across the city. The station's reach extended beyond the immediate vicinity, its signals bouncing off the walls of Warsaw's tenements and echoing through the hearts of its citizens. For the resistance fighters, these broadcasts were lifelines. They provided crucial intelligence on German troop movements, allowing the Home Army to anticipate and counter enemy maneuvers. The coded messages, often disguised as innocuous phrases, were deciphered by those in the know, guiding sabotage missions and coordinating attacks. In a city where communication lines were severed and misinformation was rampant, Radio Błyskawica offered clarity and direction. Yet, the station's influence extended far beyond the tactical. For the civilians of Warsaw, huddled in basements and makeshift shelters, the broadcasts were a source of solace and solidarity. Each transmission was a reminder that they were not alone in their struggle, that their plight was shared by others who refused to bow to tyranny. The voice of Radio Błyskawica became a symbol of defiance, its messages instilling courage and fortitude in the hearts of the oppressed. As the days of August wore on, the effect of the station's broadcasts became increasingly evident. Stories began to circulate of civilians taking up arms, inspired by the call to action resonating through their radios. Acts of resistance multiplied, from the sabotage of German supply lines to the clandestine distribution of anti-Nazi leaflets. The spirit of rebellion, formerly a flicker, had burned brightly across the city. However, with each passing day, the danger grew. The German forces, aware of the radio's existence, intensified their efforts to locate and silence it. Patrols scoured the streets, their ears attuned to the faintest hint of a broadcast. The operators of Radio Błyskawica knew that discovery would mean certain death, yet they pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and an unwavering belief in their cause. In the face of mounting peril, the station's broadcasts took on an even greater significance. They became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a defiant cry against the darkness of oppression. Each transmission was a reminder that, even in the bleakest of times, the power of information could ignite the flames of hope and resistance. As the uprising continued, the operators of Radio Błyskawica faced increasingly difficult decisions. The need for accurate information was paramount, but so too was the safety of their team. The balance between broadcasting vital updates and maintaining operational security became a constant struggle. Each message was a calculated risk, a decision weighed against the potential consequences. As the weeks wore on, the toll of the uprising became increasingly evident. The German military, frustrated by their inability to quash the resistance quickly, resorted to brutal tactics. Executions of suspected partisans and reprisals against the civilian population became commonplace. The air was thick with fear, as the specter of arrest, torture, or execution loomed over the city. Yet, even in the face of such brutality, the spirit of resistance endured. Radio Błyskawica's broadcasts continued to rally the people of Warsaw, providing crucial updates and morale-boosting messages. The station's operators, aware of the risks, remained steadfast in their mission, their voices unwavering even as the walls closed in around them. The cost of resistance was not limited to the operators alone. Many of their supporters, those who had risked everything to keep the station running, faced dire consequences. Arrests were rampant, with countless individuals rounded up and subjected to harsh interrogations. The Germans, desperate to root out the source of the broadcasts, showed no mercy, their methods ruthless and unforgiving. Yet, despite the mounting casualties, the broadcasts persisted. Each transmission was a testament to the resilience of the Polish people, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit could not be extinguished. The cost of resistance was high, but the legacy of Radio Błyskawica would endure, a beacon of hope and defiance in the face of tyranny. As the uprising drew to a close, the operators of Radio Błyskawica knew that their time was limited. The German forces were tightening their grip on the city, and the final broadcasts became a rallying cry for those still fighting. The messages, filled with urgency and determination, urged the people of Warsaw to hold fast, to resist until the very. The final days of the uprising were marked by desperation and determination. The broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica, though increasingly sporadic, remained a lifeline for the fighters and civilians alike. Each transmission was a rallying cry, urging the people of Warsaw to hold fast, to resist until the very. The station's operators, aware that their time was limited, poured their hearts into each message, their voices unwavering even as the city crumbled around them. As they drew near, the broadcasts took on a new tone. They became a chronicle of the resistance's struggle, a narrative of courage and sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds. The final messages echoed through the airwaves, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of those who had dared to defy the might of the German war machine. The fall of Warsaw was a bitter blow, but it was not the end of the story. The spirit of resistance, though battered, remained unbroken. The legacy of Radio Błyskawica, and the brave souls who had operated it, would endure, a symbol of hope and defiance in the face of tyranny. As the German forces tightened their grip on the city, the final broadcast from Radio Błyskawica rang out. It was a message of defiance, a declaration that the spirit of the Polish people could not be crushed. The operators, aware that their time was up, signed off with a simple yet powerful message: "We will return." The fall of Warsaw marked the of the uprising, but it was not the of the resistance. The story of Radio Błyskawica, and the brave souls who had operated it, would live on, a testament to the power of hope and the resilience of the human spirit. As the autumn of 1944 descended upon Warsaw, the city bore witness to the tragic consequences of the uprising. The initial fervor that had ignited the hearts of the Polish people was now overshadowed by the grim realities of war. The streets, once filled with the sounds of defiance, were now punctuated by the echoes of gunfire and the cries of the wounded. The resistance fighters, driven by their unwavering commitment to freedom, faced an increasingly dire situation as the German military unleashed its full might upon the city. The consequences of the uprising were profound and multifaceted. For the operators of Radio Błyskawica, the stakes had never been higher. Each broadcast became a desperate act of defiance, a race against time to deliver messages of hope and coordination to the beleaguered fighters and civilians. The operators, acutely aware of the risks, understood that their very lives hung in the balance. The basement studio, no longer a sanctuary of communication, felt like a ticking time bomb, with every transmission potentially leading the Germans to their hidden location. As the German forces intensified their search for the clandestine radio station, the atmosphere in Warsaw grew increasingly oppressive. The occupiers, frustrated by their inability to locate Radio Błyskawica, resorted to brutal reprisals against suspected resistance sympathizers. Raids on homes became commonplace, with entire families dragged from their beds in the dead of night, accused of harboring rebels or aiding the resistance. The streets were filled with fear, as the specter of arrest, torture, or execution loomed over the city. The moral dilemmas faced by the citizens of Warsaw became increasingly complex. Many found themselves torn between the desire to resist and the instinct for self-preservation. Neighbors turned against neighbors, as the pressure to conform to the occupiers' demands mounted. Informants lurked in the shadows, eager to betray their fellow countrymen for a chance at safety. The once unified spirit of resistance began to fracture under the weight of fear and desperation. Yet, even amidst the chaos, the broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica continued to resonate. The station's operators, undeterred by the mounting dangers, poured their hearts into each transmission, their voices a lifeline for those still willing to fight. The messages became increasingly urgent, urging the people of Warsaw to hold fast, to resist until the very. The operators understood that their words had the power to inspire courage in the face of overwhelming odds, and they remained committed to their mission, even as the city crumbled around them. The consequences of the uprising were not limited to the immediate dangers faced by the resistance fighters. The German military's response to the rebellion was marked by a ruthless campaign of destruction. As the fighting intensified, entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble, and the civilian population bore the brunt of the violence. The once vibrant city of Warsaw became a haunting landscape of devastation, its streets littered with the remnants of war. In the face of such brutality, the spirit of resistance endured. The broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica continued to rally the people of Warsaw, providing crucial updates and morale-boosting messages. The station's operators, aware of the risks, remained steadfast in their mission, their voices unwavering even as the walls closed in around them. Each transmission was a testament to the resilience of the Polish people, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit could not be extinguished. As the uprising dragged on, the toll on the civilian population became increasingly evident. Food shortages, lack of medical supplies, and the constant threat of violence created a dire situation for those who remained in the city. Families huddled together in makeshift shelters, their lives disrupted by the chaos of war. The broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica provided a glimmer of hope, a reminder that they were not alone in their struggle. The station became a source of solace, its messages a lifeline for those who had lost everything. However, The cost of resistance was high. The German military's campaign of terror escalated, leading to widespread arrests and executions of suspected resistance members. The operators of Radio Błyskawica knew that their work was putting not only their lives at risk but also those of their loved ones. The moral weight of their actions weighed heavily on their shoulders as they grappled with the consequences of their defiance. In the final days of the uprising, the broadcasts took on a new tone. They became a chronicle of the resistance's struggle, a narrative of courage and sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds. The final messages echoed through the airwaves, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of those who had dared to defy the might of the German war machine. The operators, aware that their time was limited, signed off with a simple yet powerful message: "We will return." The consequences of the uprising were not merely physical, they reverberated through the hearts and minds of the Polish people. The sacrifices made during those harrowing days would shape the national consciousness for generations to come. The moral dilemmas faced by individuals during the uprising would linger long after the guns fell silent, a reminder of the complexities of resistance in the face of tyranny. As the dust settled over the ruins of Warsaw in early October 1944, the city lay in a state of desolation. The Warsaw Uprising had ended, but its echoes would resonate through history, shaping the identity of the Polish people for decades to come. The aftermath of the uprising was marked by profound transformation, both for the city itself and for the individuals who had fought for freedom. The physical landscape of Warsaw had been irrevocably altered. Once a vibrant metropolis, the city was now a haunting tableau of destruction. Buildings lay in ruins, streets were littered with debris, and the air was thick with the acrid smell of smoke and despair. The German military, having crushed the uprising, turned their attention to the complete annihilation of the city, systematically destroying what remained. The scars of war would take generations to heal, and the memories of loss would linger long after the last echoes of gunfire faded. For the resistance fighters, the year of the uprising marked a painful reckoning. Many had given their lives in the struggle for freedom, their sacrifices etched into the collective memory of the nation. The survivors, grappling with the weight of their losses, faced a new reality. The dream of liberation had been thwarted, but the spirit of resistance remained unbroken. The operators of Radio Błyskawica, though forced to abandon their station, carried with them the knowledge that their broadcasts had inspired countless individuals to rise up against oppression. In the aftermath of the uprising, the moral dilemmas faced by the citizens of Warsaw came to the forefront. The choices made during those harrowing days would haunt many for years to come. The pressure to conform to the occupiers' demands had led to betrayal and distrust among neighbors, and the scars of division would take time to heal. The question of complicity in the face of tyranny weighed heavily on the hearts of those who had survived, as they grappled with the complexities of resistance and the cost of their choices. Yet, amidst the despair, there was also a sense of resilience. The spirit of the Polish people, forged in the crucible of conflict, emerged stronger than ever. The legacy of Radio Błyskawica became a symbol of hope and defiance, a reminder that the quest for freedom could not be extinguished. The stories of bravery and sacrifice during the uprising would be passed down through generations, inspiring future movements for justice and liberty. As the years passed, the memory of the Warsaw Uprising would transform into a powerful narrative of resistance. The sacrifices made by the fighters and civilians alike would be commemorated in monuments, literature, and oral histories, ensuring that their stories would never be forgotten. The moral complexities of the uprising would be examined and debated, as society sought to understand the choices made in the face of overwhelming odds. In the broader context of World War II, the Warsaw Uprising served as a poignant reminder of the human capacity for resilience and courage. The struggle for freedom was not confined to the battlefields, it resonated in the hearts of those who dared to defy oppression. The aftermath of the uprising would inspire movements across Europe, as people sought to reclaim their rights and dignity in the face of tyranny. The transformation of Warsaw was not solely physical, it was also a profound shift in the collective consciousness of the Polish people. The uprising had ignited a flame of resistance that would continue to burn brightly, even in the face of adversity. The legacy of Radio Błyskawica, and the brave souls who had operated it, became a testament to the enduring power of hope and the resilience of the human spirit. As the city began to rebuild, the echoes of the uprising remained a constant reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of freedom. The lessons learned during those tumultuous days would shape the future of Poland, as the nation emerged from the ashes of war with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The story of Radio Błyskawica, and the indomitable spirit of the Polish resistance, would continue to inspire generations to come, a beacon of hope in the ongoing struggle for justice and liberty. In the aftermath of the Warsaw Uprising, the city lay in ruins, its streets a haunting reminder of the brutal conflict that had raged for 63 days. The formerly vibrant capital of Poland bore the scars of relentless fighting and the heavy toll of war. Yet, amidst the devastation, the legacy of Radio Błyskawica endured, a symbol of hope and defiance in the face of oppression. The account of the secret radio station and the brave souls who had operated it became a powerful narrative in Polish history, illustrating the importance of communication and the human spirit in the face of adversity. The immediate aftermath of the uprising was marked by despair and destruction. The German forces, having crushed the resistance, systematically razed much of Warsaw to the ground. An estimated 200,000 Polish civilians lost their lives during the uprising, and countless others were displaced, forced to flee their homes or face the brutal realities of occupation. The city was left in ruins, with entire neighborhoods reduced to rubble, and the scars of war would take decades to heal. Yet, even in the face of such devastation, the spirit of resistance endured. The broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica had not only informed but also united the people of Warsaw in their struggle for freedom. Each transmission was a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the Polish resistance, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the power of information could ignite the flames of hope and resistance. The station's operators, though faced with unimaginable risks, had remained steadfast in their mission, their voices a beacon of hope for the oppressed. In the years following the war, the story of Radio Błyskawica became a source of inspiration for future generations. The narrative of the brave individuals who operated the station, risking their lives to provide vital information and morale-boosting messages, resonated deeply within the collective memory of the Polish people. It served as a reminder of the sacrifices made during those 63 days and the enduring quest for liberty that had driven the resistance. As Poland emerged from the shadows of World War II, the legacy of Radio Błyskawica took on new significance. The post-war period was marked by the establishment of a communist regime, which sought to suppress dissent and control the narrative of the war. However, the account of the Warsaw Uprising and the role of Radio Błyskawica could not be easily silenced. The station's broadcasts, which had once rallied the people of Warsaw, became a symbol of defiance against the oppressive regime that sought to erase the memory of the uprising. Commemoration of the Warsaw Uprising and Radio Błyskawica became integral to the Polish identity. Anniversaries of the uprising were marked by ceremonies, memorials, and public events, where the stories of those who fought and died for freedom were honored. The 1st of August, the day the uprising began, became a national day of remembrance, with citizens gathering to pay tribute to the heroes of the resistance. The broadcasts of Radio Błyskawica were often referenced in speeches and commemorative events, serving as a reminder of the power of communication in the struggle for liberty. In the 1980s, as Poland experienced a wave of social and political change, the legacy of Radio Błyskawica gained renewed relevance. The Solidarity movement, which emerged as a powerful force for change, drew inspiration from the resistance of the past. The idea of standing up against oppression and fighting for freedom echoed the sentiments of those who had fought during the Warsaw Uprising. The broadcasts from Radio Błyskawica became a symbol of the enduring spirit of resistance, a reminder that the fight for liberty was far from over. As Poland transitioned to democracy in the early 1990s, The legacy of Radio Błyskawica was embraced as a vital part of the nation's history. The stories of the resistance fighters, the sacrifices made during the uprising, and the role of the clandestine radio station were integrated into the national narrative. Educational programs, documentaries, and literature began to explore the significance of Radio Błyskawica, ensuring that future generations would remember the bravery and determination of those who had fought for freedom. In 1994, on the 50th anniversary of the uprising, the Polish government officially recognized the contributions of Radio Błyskawica and its operators. A commemorative plaque was unveiled at the site of the station's makeshift studio, honoring the bravery of those who had risked their lives to keep the spirit of resistance alive. The event drew attention from both national and international media, highlighting the importance of the station in the broader context of the fight against tyranny. The legacy of Radio Błyskawica also found its way into popular culture. Books, films, and plays began to explore the themes of resistance, communication, and the human spirit in the face of oppression. The account of the clandestine radio station became a powerful narrative, resonating with audiences both in Poland and abroad. Documentaries chronicling the Warsaw Uprising and the role of Radio Błyskawica were produced, ensuring that the sacrifices made during those 63 days would not be forgotten. In the 21st century, the legacy of Radio Błyskawica continues to inspire new generations. The account of the secret radio station serves as a reminder of the power of communication in times of crisis and the importance of standing up against oppression. The broadcasts resonate in the hearts of those who strive for freedom and justice around the world. The enduring impact of Radio Błyskawica can be seen in the ongoing efforts to promote freedom of expression and the importance of independent media. In a world where the flow of information is often controlled and manipulated, the enduring legacy of the clandestine radio station serves as a powerful reminder of the role that communication plays in the struggle for liberty. The operators of Radio Błyskawica, who risked everything to provide vital information and inspire hope, are celebrated as heroes in Poland's fight for freedom. As we reflect on the legacy of Radio Błyskawica, we are reminded that the spirit of resistance is not confined to the past. The echoes of defiance that emerged from the basement studio continue to inspire those who seek to challenge oppression and fight for justice. The story of Radio Błyskawica is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the power of hope and defiance can never be extinguished. In conclusion, the legacy of Radio Błyskawica transcends the boundaries of time and geography. It serves as a powerful symbol of the enduring quest for freedom, a reminder that the fight against tyranny is a universal struggle. The broadcasts that once rang out through the streets of Warsaw continue to resonate, inspiring new generations to stand up for their rights and fight for a better future. The story of Radio Błyskawica is not just a chapter in Polish history, it is a testament to the indomitable spirit of resistance that lives on in the hearts of those who dare to dream of a world free from oppression.